Kiran wiped the sweat from his brow and adjusted his helmet. The desert sun had been relentless all day, and the wind carried fine red dust that made every breath feel sharp. He was alone at the energy relay station, far from the small human colony that clung stubbornly to the edge of this harsh planet. Most people avoided this place. It was too dry, too dangerous, and too quiet. But Kiran liked it. The silence let him think. The machines, old and humming, needed care, and he was proud to keep them running. As he checked the final circuits of the day, a flicker of movement caught his eye. At first, he thought it was a trick of the sun on the heat waves. But no. There was a figure moving slowly across the desert sand, gliding almost like it was floating. Kiran's heart beat faster. No human traveled this far alone at night. The figure approached steadily. Kiran squinted, shielding his eyes from the glare. It was tall, impossibly thin, with pale skin that almost shimmered under the fading sun. Long, silver hair flowed behind the figure in the wind. The eyes, they were the most striking. They glowed faintly, like moonlight caught in a crystal. Kiran swallowed hard. He had heard stories about alien creatures from distant galaxies, but he had never imagined seeing one. "Hello," he called cautiously, stepping forward. His voice sounded small against the vast desert. The figure paused. Then, it tilted its head slightly, as if studying him. There was no weapon in its hands. Its long fingers flexed slowly. Kiran's chest tightened. He had read that some alien species could drain life energy from humans. Could this be one of them? I don't mean any harm," Kiran said, keeping his voice steady. "I'm just fixing the relay. You shouldn't be here." The alien made no reply. Instead, it stepped closer. The glow in its eyes softened, and for a moment, Kiran felt something strange like fear and wonder were twisting together inside him. Kiran stammered. He felt a strange impulse, an urge to speak the truth. You're beautiful," he said without thinking. The words hung in the air. Kiran immediately regretted them. Alien beauty was dangerous, especially in stories where humans foolishly admired things they did not understand. He braced for attack, expecting a flash of violence. Instead, the alien smiled. It was the kind of smile that could light up a dark room or, in this case, the endless desert night. Kiran blinked. Her smile was gentle, almost warm, like dawn after a long, endless night. "I am Vila," she said at last, her voice soft but clear. Kiran's ears struggled to comprehend the strange sounds, yet her words carried meaning. "I did not mean to scare you." Kiran swallowed again, unsure what to say. I'm Kiran. I work here, at the relay station. You're far from anywhere safe." Vila nodded slightly, her glowing eyes never leaving his face. "I know. I have traveled far. I watch, I learn. You humans, you survive in harsh worlds. That is, interesting." Kiran felt his heart pound. Every story he had heard about alien vampires nocturi, as the legends called them, told of creatures that were cruel and cunning. Yet here was one who seemed different. Curious, maybe even kind. You're not going to hurt me?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. Vila's smile deepened. "I do not seek to harm. But I must feed." She gestured toward the air around them, and Kiran noticed a faint shimmer in the space nearby. Not life, not blood, energy. From the planet, from the sun, from the stones. "Do not fear me." Kiran's tension eased, just a little. He had seen strange energy fields on the planet before, powerful currents of ambient power that humans had barely learned to use. If she could survive on that, then maybe she really was not dangerous. Then welcome," Kiran said, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. He had no idea what this encounter might mean, but he could not turn away. If you need shelter, I can help you. Vila's eyes reflected the last rays of the sun. Perhaps, she said. Her smile remained calm and knowing, like she had seen the end of countless nights and yet found hope in this one. As the desert wind swirled around them, Kiran realized that the night was no longer empty. Somewhere, in the vastness of the red dunes, a strange light had appeared, soft, alive, and curious. And for the first time in his quiet life, Kiran felt that the galaxy might not be as lonely or as dark as he had believed. The sun dipped below the horizon. The desert shadows lengthened, but the fear in Kiran's chest had been replaced by fascination. He had called her beautiful, and the alien vampire, whose kind haunted legends across human colonies, had smiled. And that smile felt like dawn. Kiran could not stop thinking about Vila. Even as he worked the next day, checking circuits and repairing old relays, her glowing eyes and gentle smile stayed in his mind. The desert sun beat down relentlessly, but Kiran barely noticed. Something about her was different. She was not like the dangerous creatures from human stories. Yet he could not ignore the warnings he had heard. The small colony's council gathered that evening. Kiran walked among them, trying not to show his excitement. He knew the moment he spoke, he might put himself in trouble. "She's here," one of the older technicians said grimly. "The alien has been spotted near the relay station. They call them Nocturi. You know what they do, they feed on humans, leave nothing behind. We cannot let her linger." Kiran's stomach tightened. He had hoped he might explain, but now he felt trapped. "Wait," he said, stepping forward. I met her. She doesn't want to harm anyone. I think she only wants energy from the planet. Not from us." The council murmured among themselves, doubt and fear in their voices. "You can't trust them," said the colony leader, a tall woman named Myra. "They are predators. Even if she doesn't mean harm now, humans are not their food. They can turn on you in a moment." Kiran nodded. He knew they were cautious for a reason. Stories of humans lost to alien predators were countless, and warnings had been passed down for generations. Still, he could not shake the memory of Vila's smile. It had felt different. Gentle. Honest. Something that humans rarely saw in legends of other species. "I understand," Kiran said softly. "But maybe not all of them are the same." She watched me. She did not strike. She just smiled. It felt like hope. Myra studied him carefully, then shook her head. "Hope does not survive here, Kiran. Survival does. Stay cautious. If she comes near again, keep your distance." Kiran left the council, his mind racing. He decided he could not ignore Vila. He needed to know more. That night, when the sky turned dark and the twin moons rose over the red sands, he walked toward the relay station again. The desert was quiet, empty except for the sound of the wind. And then he saw her. Vila stood at the edge of a small dune, her silver hair catching the moonlight. Her eyes glowed softly. She looked calm, peaceful. Even the stories of terrifying alien vampires could not have prepared Kiran for the way she moved, graceful, like she was part of the desert itself. "You came," she said in her soft voice. "I had to," Kiran admitted. I wanted to know more about you. Why are you here? What do you want from us?" Vila's eyes studied him. "I want understanding. I am not like the stories. My kind, some take life. I do not. I survive on the energy around me, the sun, the stones, the air itself. You humans, you live in harsh worlds. You fight and endure. That is admirable." Kiran felt a strange pride. You watch us. I watch, I learn. Some of your ways are clever. Your kind is strong, and many of you do not realize it. Vila's smile returned, faint but warm. You have courage. That is rare. Kiran felt a thrill. For the first time, a being from a distant world had complimented humans in a way that felt sincere. Thank you, he said quietly. There was a pause. Then, a distant roar echoed across the desert. Kiran froze. It was the patrol sent by the colony. They had found signs of Vila's presence and were coming. Kiran's stomach tightened. He knew the council would not listen to reason. They would see her as a threat, even if she meant no harm. We must move, Vila said. Her eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and she seemed ready. They will come. I do not wish to fight your people. I only wish to survive. Kiran nodded. Then I will help you. I will explain, if I can. Vila tilted her head slightly. You are brave, human. Or perhaps, foolish. Maybe both, Kiran said with a small smile, trying to mask his fear. Together, they moved quietly through the desert, sticking to the shadows of dunes. The patrol came closer, their lights cutting through the darkness, but Kiran led Vila through paths only he knew. He felt his heart pounding in his chest, but he could not turn back. He had seen what fear could do to humans, and he had also seen what hope could do to an alien. By the time they reached a hidden canyon, the patrol had passed. Kiran looked at Vila, and for a moment, the danger seemed distant. You trust me, she said softly. I have to, Kiran admitted. Even if others do not, I have to. Vila's smile returned, and for a moment, it felt like the endless desert night was breaking into dawn. Kiran did not know what the future held, but he knew one thing: this encounter was only the beginning. And something in the galaxy had shifted that night. Humans and an alien vampire, connected by curiosity, courage, and a faint light of hope. The desert wind howled around Kiran and Vila as they crouched behind a tall rock formation, waiting for the patrol to leave. The twin moons cast silver light across the dunes, and the shadows seemed alive. Kiran's heart still raced, but he felt calmer than before. Vila's presence, though alien and strange, brought a quiet strength he had not known he needed. You are fast, Kiran said quietly. Faster than anyone I have ever seen. Vila's eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. Speed is survival, she replied. In my world, danger is always near. You humans, you survive, but not like this. You endure in ways I find remarkable. Kiran smiled. We endure because we have to. And because we hope. Vila tilted her head, studying him. Hope is fragile, she said softly. But I see it in you. It is strong. That is why I linger. Kiran looked at her, surprised. You linger, why? Aren't you supposed to avoid humans? Some do. Some hunt, Vila said. But I am not like them. I do not need life to survive. I feed on energy. I have watched your colony. You are clever. You work together. You protect each other. That is admirable. Kiran's chest swelled with pride. Humans often felt small in the vast galaxy, always cautious of the stronger, stranger species. But here was one who truly appreciated their strength. Then, you see us as equals, he asked. Vila nodded slowly. Perhaps not equals. But worthy. For a long moment, silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant howls of desert creatures. Kiran realized he felt no fear now, only curiosity. He wanted to know everything about her, her world, her kind, her struggles. I want to understand you, Kiran said finally. Not just your kind, but you. I want to know why you came, why you smiled at me. Vila's smile returned, faint but warm. You humans are strange. You speak of understanding, Yet you fear what you do not know. Yet, you are honest. You are brave. That is rare. Kiran laughed softly. I'm not sure if I'm brave. Maybe foolish, more than brave. Perhaps both, Vila said. Her eyes reflected the moonlight. But bravery, and foolishness, can lead to discovery. You understand that? The wind shifted, carrying the distant sounds of the patrol retreating. Kiran breathed a sigh of relief. We should return to the colony, he said. They will be looking for you. And they won't listen to reason. Vila's gaze softened. I am not afraid, she said. But I will follow your guidance. You have insight. Kiran felt a strange warmth. No human had ever said those words to him before, let alone an alien. Then, we can help each other, he said. I can teach you about humans. You can teach me about your kind. Vila's eyes glowed brighter for a moment. That is acceptable. They moved carefully across the dunes, avoiding the patrol's path. Kiran pointed out hidden paths and ancient rock formations that offered cover. Vila followed silently, graceful and precise. Kiran realized how much he trusted her instinctively, even though he barely knew her. As they traveled, Vila spoke softly of her people, the Nocturi. We are not all hunters, she explained. Some of us seek knowledge. Some seek survival without harm. Many misunderstand us. Many fear us. That is why I avoid most worlds. But, your world, your colony, it is different. Humans are resilient. You endure. That is remarkable. Kiran nodded. We endure because we care for each other. We protect what is ours. Even if the universe is harsh, we survive because we hope for better. Vila's smile widened, gentle and serene. Hope, yes. That is something I observe in you. I like it. It is beautiful. They walked for hours, the night stretching endlessly. The desert was vast, silent, and unforgiving. Yet, with Vila beside him, Kiran felt a strange sense of companionship. He realized that despite her alien nature, despite the fear her kind inspired in humans, she was not a predator here. She was a friend. Eventually, they reached a hidden canyon where the wind could not reach them. Kiran had discovered it during his work, a quiet place where he sometimes came to think. Now, it offered safety for Vila. You can rest here, Kiran said. It is safe. The patrol will not find us here. Vila lowered herself gracefully to the ground, her silver hair spreading like light across the rocks. Thank you, Kiran. You are unusual. I trust you. Kiran smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and relief. And I trust you, Vila. Even if others don't understand. Maybe, together, we can show them there is more to your kind than fear. Vila's eyes glowed softly, reflecting the twin moons. Perhaps. Perhaps, this is only the beginning. Kiran looked at her and felt a strange certainty. Whatever challenges the desert, the colony, or the galaxy might bring, this encounter had changed everything. Humans and Nocturi could understand each other. And maybe, just maybe, hope could survive even in the darkest night. As the moons moved across the sky, Kiran and Vila sat together, silent but connected. The bond between them was fragile, new, but strong enough to face the coming storms. And in that quiet canyon, the first spark of trust and friendship between human and alien vampire began to grow. The desert was unforgiving. By day, the sun burned like a furnace, by night, the cold gnawed at Kiran's skin. Yet he and Vila pressed on, traveling deeper into the barren landscape. Kiran guided her along hidden paths, careful to avoid the patrols that still searched for signs of the alien visitor. You move well in the desert, Kiran said, adjusting his pack. I thought I was the only one who knew these paths. Vila smiled faintly. Observation is important. Survival depends on it. I learn quickly. Her glowing eyes scanned the dunes ahead, noting every ridge and shadow. Kiran noticed how she seemed attuned to the desert in a way he had never seen in another human. She moved silently, almost as if she were part of the sand and wind itself. Hours passed. They reached a canyon, where the rocks rose like jagged teeth into the sky. The wind howled through the narrow gaps, and sand swirled around their feet. Kiran slowed. We need to be careful here. The canyon is full of unstable rocks. One wrong step, Vila nodded. I understand. Show me the safe path. Kiran led her through a narrow corridor, pointing out rocks that were loose and areas where the ground had given way in the past. Vila followed closely, graceful and precise. Kiran could not help but admire her focus. Even the patrols of the colony could not match her skill in moving silently and efficiently. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the canyon. A boulder had shifted, and sand tumbled from above. Kiran grabbed Vila's arm, pulling her to the side just as the rock struck the ground where they had been standing moments before. Careful! Kiran shouted, his heart racing. Vila's eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and she let out a low sound that Kiran could not understand. Then she looked at him, calm but alert. You were quick. That is good. Many would have been hurt. Kiran swallowed. I'm just lucky, I guess. But deep down, he knew it was more than luck. The desert was testing them both, and Vila's presence made him sharper, faster, more aware. As they continued through the canyon, they encountered more challenges. Narrow ledges, steep drops, and hidden crevices demanded every bit of Kiran's skill and Vila's agility. At one point, Kiran had to leap across a chasm, pulling Vila with him. Her strength surprised him. She barely seemed to need his help. You are strong, he said, panting as he caught his breath. Vila's smile was faint but approving. Strength is necessary. Survival depends on it. You humans, you endure even when the world is against you. That is admirable. They stopped at a small plateau, looking out over the endless desert. The twin moons cast long shadows across the sand, and the wind had died down. Kiran could see the colony far in the distance, tiny lights like stars on the horizon. We have come far, Kiran said quietly. But the worst is not behind us. The desert, it will keep testing us. And the patrol, they may return. Vila's eyes glowed softly. Tests are necessary. They reveal who is prepared. You are prepared, Kiran. That is why you survive. Kiran smiled, feeling a mix of pride and determination. Then let's face whatever comes next. The night grew colder, and Kiran felt the sharp bite of the wind. Vila moved beside him, her presence steadying him. For the first time, he realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. Suddenly, movement in the shadows caught Kiran's attention. Small, desert-dwelling predators, creatures no larger than a human's hand but fast and dangerous, were creeping toward them. Kiran readied his makeshift spear. Vila's eyes glowed brighter. She moved with incredible speed, intercepting the creatures before they could reach him. In a blur, she knocked them aside, her reflexes perfect, precise, and deadly, but careful not to harm them permanently. You are skilled, Kiran said, wide-eyed. I could never do that alone. Vila smiled faintly. Skill comes from need. You learn when life depends on it. You humans, you learn quickly. That is why I watch you. The predators retreated, sensing that this pair was not easy prey. Kiran exhaled slowly. We made it, together. Vila nodded. Together. That is important. Cooperation, it is a strength many species forget. Kiran looked at her, feeling a new bond forming. I've never met anyone like you. Not human, not alien. You understand things differently. And somehow, I feel like I can trust you. Vila's glowing eyes met his. Trust is earned. You have earned mine. For the first time in the harsh desert, Kiran felt safe. Not because danger had disappeared, but because he and Vila had faced it together. The canyon, the sandstorms, the predators, they had all tested them, and they had survived. As they settled for the night, Kiran realized that courage was not just about fighting, it was about facing the unknown, helping those who cannot help themselves, and trusting even when fear is strong. And with Vila beside him, he felt that perhaps humans and Nocturi could survive together, not as predator and prey, but as allies facing a vast and dangerous galaxy. The hidden canyon was quiet as dawn broke over the desert. Light spilled over the rocks in golden streaks, painting the sand in warm colors. Kiran stretched and yawned. Vila sat nearby, her silver hair catching the early sun, and her eyes glowed softly. We need to decide, Kiran said, voice low. The colony will not leave you alone. And the energy source we found, it could help you survive without risk. But it could also be dangerous if used incorrectly. Vila tilted her head. I have felt the energy. It is powerful. It could sustain me for many cycles. But humans, you are correct. The wrong use could harm your colony. That is, a test. A choice. Kiran nodded. He had studied the ancient energy nodes before, but never this close. They pulsed with power, faint light moving like liquid through cracks in the rocks. A careless touch could overload the system, and the colony's supply might fail. But if handled correctly, it could provide Vila the energy she needed while protecting humans. I know you can do it, Kiran said finally. But you must promise me you will not take more than you need. Only enough to survive. Vila's eyes glowed brighter for a moment. I understand. You are, wise, human. Few would think this way. Together, they approached the energy node. Vila's hands hovered above the glowing currents, feeling the flow, sensing its rhythm. Kiran watched, holding his breath. The energy was beautiful, alive, and dangerous. I can do this, Vila said softly. But I will need guidance. You're kind, you understand balance. You endure without greed. Teach me. Kiran stepped forward. Watch me first. I will show you how to draw small amounts safely. He carefully manipulated the energy controls, sending pulses through small conduits. Sparks danced but remained controlled. See? Slow, steady, only what is necessary. Vila nodded and mimicked his movements. The energy flowed from the node into her, and Kiran could see the faint glow along her skin. She did not drain the desert or the colony. She only took what she needed. You are careful, she said, her voice softer than usual. I did not expect humans to be so responsible. Kiran smiled. We have to be. Otherwise, nothing survives here. Suddenly, a distant sound echoed through the canyon. Kiran froze. The patrol. They were coming back, faster this time. Panic threatened to rise in his chest. We must move quickly, Kiran said, grabbing Vila's hand. They cannot see us using this energy. Vila moved with him, graceful and precise. Together, they slipped through narrow passages, avoiding rocks and shadows, moving toward a hidden exit Kiran had discovered long ago. The patrol's voices grew louder, calling out, searching for signs of the alien. Kiran felt a surge of determination. The colony might fear Vila, but he knew the truth. She was not a threat. And now, with this energy, she could survive safely. It was up to him to protect that choice. At the edge of the canyon, Vila stopped. Kiran, what you did, this is unusual. Most humans would have fled. Or attacked. You are different. Kiran caught his breath, shaking his head. I do what is right. That is all I can do. And I trust you, to honor the balance. You promised. Vila's smile returned, calm and steady. I honor it. Your trust, it is rare. I will not betray it. They watched the patrol move past, their lights scanning the canyon floor. Kiran felt relief wash over him. The danger was not gone, but they had survived this test. And the energy source was now a safe lifeline for Vila. You could have taken more, Kiran said quietly, and no one would have known. But you didn't. Vila's eyes reflected the rising sun. I choose life, not destruction. That is my way. And your way, is not unlike mine, though your species is younger. Kiran nodded, feeling a sense of pride. Humans may have been small in the galaxy, but courage, wisdom, and restraint made them strong. And perhaps that strength could form bonds across worlds, even with beings like Vila. The desert was waking now, the wind softer, the sand golden in morning light. Kiran and Vila stood side by side, knowing the patrol would continue searching, the colony would remain wary, and dangers still waited. But for the first time, Kiran felt hope. They had faced a test, and together, they had made the right choice. Vila glanced at him. You call me beautiful, she said quietly, recalling his words from their first meeting. Perhaps, beauty is not in the surface, but in choices. In courage. In the way you protect what matters. Kiran smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. Then you are beautiful, too. Not just in looks, but in who you are. Vila's glow brightened slightly, as if the energy she had drawn reflected her mood. Then perhaps, we can learn from each other. Humans and Nocturi, together. Kiran nodded. The patrol would continue, the colony might resist, and the desert would always challenge them. But he knew this was only the beginning. The choice had been made. And together, they would face the trials ahead. For the first time in the desert's endless expanse, Kiran felt that the galaxy was not as lonely as it seemed. Courage, wisdom, and trust, these were the things that could survive even in the harshest worlds. And he had found them, not just in himself, but in an alien who smiled like dawn after endless night. Kiran and Vila had returned to the edge of the colony, keeping to the hidden paths he knew so well. The desert stretched endlessly, but with Vila beside him, Kiran felt less alone. Their bond had grown stronger over the past days through trust, courage, and careful choices. Yet Kiran sensed something new in the air, something that did not belong to the human colony or the desert winds. They are near, Vila said suddenly, her glowing eyes scanning the horizon. My kind, they have sensed me. They do not approve of my presence here. Kiran's heart skipped a beat. He had heard stories of the Nocturi predators, hunters, feared across human colonies. Vila's kind rarely tolerated disobedience. He looked at her, concern and determination mixing in his chest. We face them together, he said. Whatever comes, we do not run. We stand. Vila's eyes softened. You are brave. Or, foolish. Perhaps both. That is why I remain by your side. They moved quickly, reaching a rocky outcrop overlooking the colony. From there, they could see movement shapes moving with the silent precision of experienced hunters. Kiran counted at least 3 Nocturi, their pale skin glinting faintly in the desert sun. They had come for Vila, and Kiran knew they would not leave without confrontation. Stay behind me, Kiran said. I won't let them harm you. Vila shook her head. We face this together. I do not need protection alone. But I trust your courage. The first of the Nocturi appeared on the ridge, their eyes glowing, scanning the landscape. They paused, sensing the energy Vila had drawn. One of them hissed, a sharp sound that echoed across the desert. Vila, the voice said, cold and commanding. You betray your kind by staying with humans. Leave now, or face consequences. Vila's eyes glowed brighter. I do not betray. I survive differently. Humans are not my prey. I choose peace. The leader of the group stepped closer, tension radiating from him. Peace is weakness. You abandon the ways of our people. You have no right. Kiran stepped forward, raising his voice. You are wrong. Strength is not in taking life. Strength is in courage, in restraint, and in choosing what is right. Vila is my ally, not my enemy. And together, we will defend this choice. The Nocturi leader's eyes narrowed. He did not expect humans to speak so boldly. You dare, he hissed. I do, Kiran said firmly. Humans endure harsh worlds, survive impossible conditions, and protect those they care for. That is strength. That is courage. And it is enough to face you. Vila moved beside him, her presence calm yet powerful. He speaks truth, she said. The humans of this colony are strong. I have seen it. I have learned it. I will not harm them, and I will not flee. We face this together. The Nocturi paused, sensing the bond between the two. It was rare for a human and one of their kind to stand united, to face judgment side by side. Kiran's courage, combined with Vila's confidence, created an unusual force that the aliens did not expect. Finally, the leader hissed and stepped back. This is not over, he said. But you survive, for now. Do not forget the laws of our kind. With that, the Nocturi disappeared into the desert, leaving Kiran and Vila standing together. Kiran exhaled, relief flooding him. He had faced the unknown, the predator of legends, and stood firm. Vila turned to him, her glowing eyes softening. You are brave, Kiran. Your courage, it is rare in humans. You inspire trust. Kiran smiled. And you showed me that not all your kind are enemies. That courage and understanding can survive, even in a galaxy that fears us both. Together, they moved closer to the colony. Kiran knew the council might still resist Vila's presence, but he also knew that today had proven something important: humans and Nocturi could work together. They could protect each other, learn from each other, and survive harsh worlds side by side. By the time they reached the outskirts of the colony, Kiran and Vila were no longer just human and alien. They were a team, a living example of what courage, trust, and wisdom could achieve. Humans and Nocturi, predator and survivor, could form bonds that even the harshest galaxy could not break. The colony watched silently as Vila approached, her glowing eyes gentle, her posture calm. Kiran stepped forward beside her. Myra, the colony leader, studied them closely. Kiran held his ground. She comes in peace, he said. She only seeks to survive. And she has learned our ways. Myra's eyes narrowed, but she sensed the truth in his words. Slowly, she nodded. Then, she may remain. But for now, we watch closely. Vila's smile returned, soft and luminous, like dawn breaking over the desert. I honor your caution, she said. But know this, I mean no harm. Only friendship and understanding. Kiran looked at her, feeling hope swell in his chest. Together, they had faced judgment, danger, and the unknown. Together, they had proven that courage, trust, and understanding could survive in even the harshest worlds. And in that moment, humans and Nocturi were no longer enemies. They were allies, standing side by side against the vast galaxy, ready to face whatever challenges came next. The desert morning was calm. The twin moons had set, leaving the sky painted in soft gold and pink. Kiran stood at the edge of the colony, looking out at the dunes that stretched endlessly. Beside him, Vila's silver hair shimmered in the rising sun, and her glowing eyes reflected quiet determination. The events of the past days had changed everything. The patrols had retreated, the Nocturi had gone, and the colony had agreed, cautiously, to allow Vila to remain. Trust had been earned, and respect had been built small, fragile, but real. You stayed, Kiran said softly. Even when your kind arrived. You didn't run. Vila's smile was gentle. I learned something from you. Strength is not always in dominance. Sometimes, it is in patience, restraint, and understanding. You humans, you endure because of these things. I wanted to see it for myself. Kiran nodded. And I learned from you, too. That even beings that seem dangerous, can choose a different path. That courage isn't just fighting. It's making the right choice, even when others doubt you. Vila's eyes glowed faintly, soft like morning light. Then we both learned. That is, good. The colony was slowly coming to life. Humans moved about, tending to solar arrays, water collectors, and communication relays. Many paused when they saw Vila, unsure of what to feel. But Kiran noticed something remarkable. Instead of fear, some were curious. And curiosity, he knew, could turn into understanding. Myra approached him. You were right, Kiran, she said carefully. She did not harm us. And, she seems to have a bond with you. Perhaps, we misjudged. Kiran smiled faintly. We misjudged each other, too. But the important thing is what we do now. We can build trust. We can show that humans and Nocturi, even being so different, can survive together. Vila stepped forward. I do not wish to hide. I will contribute to your colony, help you survive the desert, and protect those who live here. Trust is fragile, but I wish to honor it. The children of the colony approached cautiously, eyes wide with wonder. Vila knelt down to their level, her glowing eyes soft. Do not be afraid, she said gently. I mean no harm. I am here to help. Kiran watched as the children reached out, curious and brave. One touched her hand, feeling the faint warmth of the energy she had drawn. Vila smiled, a radiant expression that made the desert seem less harsh. You've done something important, Kiran said quietly to Vila. Not just surviving, not just protecting yourself, but showing the colony that trust is possible. Vila tilted her head. You humans, you inspire trust in ways I did not expect. Courage, wisdom, patience, these are qualities my kind rarely sees. But you embody them. Kiran felt a warmth in his chest, pride mixed with hope. The desert had tested them, the patrols had challenged them, and the Nocturi had judged them. Yet here they stood together, stronger than before. Perhaps this is the beginning, Kiran said. Not just for us, but for everyone. Humans and Nocturi, learning from each other. Protecting each other. Surviving together. Vila's eyes glowed brighter, reflecting the sunlight. Perhaps. And perhaps, this is only the first step. The galaxy is vast. Many do not understand humans, or my kind. But together, we can show them a different way. The colony watched silently, learning from the quiet strength of the human and the alien. Kiran knew that change would take time. Fear would not disappear overnight. But hope, real hope, had taken root. And hope could endure. As the day grew warmer, Kiran and Vila moved among the colony, helping repair structures, monitoring energy nodes, and teaching others how to work safely with the desert's harsh conditions. Humans watched, learned, and adapted. Vila guided them with patience and knowledge, her alien presence no longer a threat, but a partner. At sunset, Kiran stood atop a small dune, looking at Vila beside him. You smiled at me the first night, he said. I didn't know then, how important that would be. Vila looked at him, her glowing eyes softening. And you called me beautiful. That gave me something humans rarely offer: trust, honesty, and courage. We both changed that night. Kiran nodded. We did. And the desert, it is no longer empty. Not with you here. Vila smiled, faint but radiant. Then let us continue together. Humans and Nocturi. Facing challenges, learning, surviving. Perhaps, one day, even the galaxy will see the strength in unity. The twin moons began to rise again, casting a gentle light over the colony and the endless desert. Kiran and Vila stood side by side, a symbol of courage, trust, and hope. The galaxy was vast, and dangers would come, but they were ready. Together. And in the desert's quiet vastness, humans and alien beings learned that even in darkness, understanding and courage could shine brighter than any legend.